Do this. Just two words, no elaboration, but clearly someone is expected to do something. Do this. It's the meaning, not the translation, of the term that gives this singular day in the church year its name, at least in the Church of England and its offshoots around the planet. Maundy, from the Latin mandamus, root of mandate, but essentially, do this. As an aside, the tradition has taken a peculiar and confusing turn in the land of our mother church. Instead of the head of the church or the head of state modeling the humility of Jesus by publicly washing the feet of selected poor folk, as the current Pope does, the British monarch takes a basket of lovely hand-sewn bags containing specially minted Maundy coins and publicly delivers them to 12 well-coiffed and clad recipients chosen for some sort of merit. Not quite, I think, what Jesus had in mind. Our lectionary this evening tells us the stories of the three mandates, which mingle together to inform the prayer and practice of the three great days of our Holy Week this and every year. Under the full moon of spring, prepare a lamb. Mark the doorposts of the house with its blood. Make sure the less able neighbors are included. Eat in haste, even before the bread can rise, because our liberation begins now. And whenever you are each spring moon thereafter, do this. In Roman-occupied Jerusalem, disciples gathered to do precisely that. And Jesus disrupts the gathering to strip and take the role of the lowest of servants. He washes the filth from their feet to give us a profound example of being liberated from ego, status, and power in order to serve. And to tell us, do this. Then as the special meal is ending, with the bread prepared in haste and the fourth and final cup of the ritual meal, Jesus takes, blesses, breaks, and gives, naming the bread and wine as his body and blood given to and for us. And then the command, do this. Do this not just once, but whenever and wherever. Why? To keep the underlying meaning and the grace alive, and to feed our faith and action in perpetuity. And we are to do this because it's easier to remember simple actions with concrete components than abstract concepts. Do this. Two words that stand in stark contrast to the shelves, the volumes, the libraries of tomes in many languages that try first to tell us and then to tell God just what is going on and how it happens. All those words, and they all boil down to do this. And notice how tactile and sensate it all is. What is invited in mandamus is all of us. In our sacred and secular doing, we're asked to bring all of who we are and all we hope to become. To underscore all that, our doing is made real by engaging all our senses: touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. It even evokes a sixth sense of intuition, awareness, perceived presence. Ours is a very hands-on faith, both in our worship and in our mission and ministry in a perpetually hurting world. This was brought home to me some years ago when a friend quoted words of Herbert O'Driscoll on her simple ordination invitation. God has given us 5 gifts for the journey: water, oil, bread, wine, and each other. Water, oil, bread, wine, and each other. The essentials. That's all we need in our collective backpack for our pilgrimage home to freedom in God. That's all we need to respond to God's mandamus so that we are graced, nourished, and sustained the whole way. I realized that a principal reason I was drawn to renewed awareness of and gratitude for O'Driscoll's words. By making the physical deeply human and sensate so simple and clear, he names the heart of our current sense of loss, of our grief. For the second Maundy in going on 2 years, we have been deprived of all but one of the 5 simple yet essential gifts. No take, bless, break, and give. No bread, no wine, no anointing. No water and towels, no asperges, no incense, no touch in blessing or peace giving. No meals and surplus food for our most hungry and struggling hate neighbors. We all have so wanted and been so unable to do this. Each of us in our own way is starving and sense deprived. And Maundy Thursday just makes it all more acute and painful. We're not in the physical presence of each other, and we deeply miss that. Being community is where discipleship is formed and fed. However, I would submit that the gift of Zoom has been that for most of All Saints, the gift of each other, while not in person, has been enhanced. I think that those who were and are technologically able know each other more fully. We are more able to understand and share what weighs on each other's hearts and souls. We have shepherded each other through this pretty awful pandemic year. The gift of each other has persisted and grown. It crossed my mind on the search committee that the next priest in charge of All Saints will step into leadership of an exceptionally coherent community of faith and action. What a gift for them and us. There's one final gift that we may or may not want to embrace this Maundy, Thursday, and following. The very deprivation I have described invites, maybe even demands, that we use our loss to engage more and more intentionally in naming what it is for each of us and for us as community that we have lost. What precisely is it we want to regain, reclaim, realize? What do we most deeply believe about making Eucharist? What is most profoundly missing for us? How can we rediscover that experience and knowing as we move back into familiar rhythm? Sometime back in 2020, I was in conversation with Beth and found myself saying, when the day comes when we can gather in person to pray and praise, to take, bless, break, and give, I don't want to hurry up to find parking on Waller so that I don't miss all of Bill's prelude, slink past the choir to, quote, my pew, and just do business as usual. I need to be as fully open and fully prepared as I can so that with each other, we can once again, at last, do this. May it be so.